Auckland might just be the most beautiful big city we've ever visited, or at least the most naturally gifted. With over 50 volcanoes dotting the skyline, the city's history is written in its landscapes. But you know that already. What you really want to know is how good is the vegan scene here? From hidden gems to must visit hotspots, we are diving into Auckland's plant based food culture. And we are not doing it alone. Patricia, a local Kiwi, helped us uncover some amazing spots, and she'll be sharing her insights later in the video.
So, how was the vegan food scene in Auckland? Let's find out.
We reached Auckland by the Northern Explorer train from Hamilton. The harvest bowl was nice, the sausage was convincing, and the tomatoes and potatoes were a nice combination. The sandwich was fresh and simple. By the time we reached Auckland, it was quite late, so we ate at home. Our hosts had put together a feast, and we really enjoyed a home-cooked meal after almost 3 weeks of travel. Good home-cooked food is the only time you'll see a group of Indians being silent. Next day, we took a short ferry to Devonport, an Auckland suburb on the North Shore. After a beautiful walk along the water, we got a great seat at Kestrel, which is located right on the wharf. The only vegan option seemed to be the guac or the fries. So we got the guac, and it was incredible. This was such a simple plate, but we both really enjoyed it. New Zealand grown avocados are easily the best I have ever had. Vidhi enjoyed her iced cappuccino as well. As usual, coffees are very consistently priced in New Zealand, whether it's to go or at a fancy place on the wharf like this. For dinner, we were back in the CBD area of Auckland, and we had dinner at Sunflower Thai, which is a 100% vegan place. We started with the chili basil stir fry with veggies and pork belly. The mock meat was very convincing, and the dish was super tasty and had a lovely kick of spice. We were excited for the crispy chicken bao, but it was just okay. The roti banana dessert with Nutella was not good either. The Nutella was a very runny chocolate sauce and the roti was not great. Overall, this meal was just okay, but I wish I had another chance to go back and try everything else out. The menu is massive, and this might just have been a bad day. And we really did love the first dish. For breakfast, we had these fantastic frozen aloo parathas at home. If that's something you'd like to score for yourself, we've left details in the description. They're delicious and so convenient. The vegan grocery scene is really good in New Zealand. More on that later on. For lunch, our generous and lovely hosts took us to Orbit 360, the magnificent revolving restaurant at SkyCity. This is the best view of any restaurant I have ever been to. Auckland is really very easy on the eyes. The blues and greens were just stunning. For the mains, they had a couple of vegan options, so we got one of each. The polpettes were surprisingly delicious. The meatballs were tender and loaded with flavor. Maybe too much, but I loved it. And the sauce packed a punch as well. The gnocchi looked fabulous and it was very, very nice. The sauce and the tomatoes were the highlight. Simple and bursting with flavor. Vidhi and I usually don't like gnocchi because we find it a bit too doughy, but with the sauce and veggies, this was really nice as well. For dessert, we got the only vegan option, a chocolate and berry cake that looked great and actually tasted really good too. The berry flavor was subtle and the cake was intense without ever feeling too heavy. We also got a platter of fruits, and as usual, the New Zealand fruits were very nice. But I wish we got 2 of the chocolate cake. At $75 per head, this does feel very expensive. But if you factor in that it costs about $45 just to go up, then this 2-course meal for $30 is not bad value at all. For dinner, we were off to Khu Khu, another 100% vegan Thai restaurant that now has 3 branches in Auckland. This spot was recommended by Patricia, who joined us for this meal. The masaman curry was really tasty. It's everything you want from a Thai-style curry. It doesn't come with any carbs, so we ordered a roti and some rice. The khao soi was really tasty as well. And the star of the show was the Bangkok-style street noodles. If you like spice, then order it spicy. It's got a lovely smoky wok flavor mixed with the spice and some sweetness. This place is quite expensive, but we really enjoyed our meal here. And it was noticeable how full and popular this spot was even on a weekday.
What are your favorite vegan restaurants or cafes or eateries here? I feel like there's like picking between like children just because there aren't that too many in Auckland.
Okay.
But I would say Khu Khu like it's definitely up there. Like
Right.
the food is very like high quality and they offer like kind of like a more luxurious dining experience.
Right.
Wise Boys, that's a burger
Okay.
brunch. They have 2 locations as
Nice.
well, so they're doing well. Gorilla Kitchen. I think they have 3 branches. Heart Bakery, because I love like pies and pastries and cookies. Maison de Lise, which is a French patisserie.
Wow.
And Sunflower Thai, so that's another Thai restaurant.
For dessert, Patricia recommended Island Gelato, so that's where we went. They had 12 vegan flavors, which made it super confusing for us in a good way. We finally landed on the cafe latte and it was awesome. We've had some amazing ice cream in New Zealand, and having ice cream in cool weather is a winning combination. Patricia got the Black Forest, and I think it was even better. A local knows. Next day, we were off to the North Shore again, but this time to the beautiful Browns Bay. Vidhi and I were super excited because the waters looked calm and amazing. And it was a relatively warm day, so we decided to go for a swim. But it was still quite cold and breezy. It was a lot of fun, but I'm not sure how often we'll repeat it. Asian beaches are the best in the world for a reason. The Browns Bay Brewery had a few vegan options, so we ordered all of them. Swimming makes you hungry. The fries were delicious, maybe the best we've had in New Zealand. The tacos were excellent as well. Tempura fried with pickled onions, caramelized bell peppers and guac. So good. The lentil hummus was good but not great. I find lentil hummus to be a bit too dense, but it was served with some nice bread and chili oil. The baked carrots were the only disappointing thing. Undersalted and underseasoned, but we packed it up and Vidhi used them in some breakfast wraps later on, which was super delicious. Next morning, we were off to Mount Eden. But first, we met Patricia at Maison de Lise, a French-style patisserie. I guess a Kiwi would say that we were at a patty with patty. It's just so exciting when you walk into a place like this and everything is vegan. The ham and cheese bread was a bit cold and the sauce was quite runny, so the bread had become soggy too. It was just okay. Patricia got the bread with garlic and pesto and it was much better. The mini croissant was good. We packed the almond croissant and we had it once we finally summited the biggest inland volcano in all of Auckland. It was just a 15-minute hike up, but let's keep that between us. The croissant pudding was nice too. Even though the pastries were below my expectations, it was a lovely morning spent with Patricia at this epic caldera. It's great that we had a patisserie so close by and that we could enjoy a moment like this. The kind of moment that you really miss when you're vegan. For lunch, we headed to Gorilla Kitchen. The chicken wings were really good. The mock meat was yuba or tofu skin and is becoming one of my favorite mock meats. The texture is tender and it can really absorb flavor. The crumb was delicious too. The burger featured classic ingredients but made really well. The bread, patty, cheese, pickles and sauce, everything just came together in a simple and unpretentious way. I think burgers are best when they take this route. The pizza was a big surprise. It was the kind of unauthentic pizza we get back home in India. And we loved it. The bread was pre-baked but soft and nice. The sauce had an onion garlic hit and the toppings and cheese were generous and evenly spread. Our Italian followers will hate us for liking this, but we do really like this flatbread non-pizza thing. We had another epic dinner at home. My mom is known for being the best cook in her group of friends and I think her cooking was why our hosts put up with the other 3 of us. This vegan chocolate cake cost just $12 at Woolworths and everyone loved it. We couldn't believe how reasonable and tasty it was, and the packaging was super sturdy as well. We started day 6 with another great breakfast at home. Then we were off to Hunua Falls. We were living in West Auckland and we had already explored the central CBD area, so we decided to check out South Auckland. What I really liked about New Zealand is how nicely they've designed these trails. Even people in their 70s can be comfortable and the area will always have washrooms. This place even had a lovely picnic area complete with picnic benches. That's a good thing because we carried some of these vegan mince and cheese pies that we had bought at Woolworths and baked at home. We also took some of these amazing garlic crackers. They were one of our favorite grocery finds in New Zealand and we paired it with some guac. As I've mentioned before, the avocados here are insane and we got 6 pieces for just $4 at an Asian grocery store. This is a good time to get into the grocery market scene. We loved this kiwi onion dip by VZ. This cream cheese was also really good. We loved that there was no heating required and you could just have these straight out of the box. That's very rare with vegan cheeses that can be quite hard and waxy and almost inedible without heating and melting them. All the Whittaker chocolates with 50% or more cocoa are vegan. We especially loved all the flavors from their new artisanal series. We also found other milk chocolate like vegan chocolates. There's plenty of vegan yogurt and frozen goods like pizzas, pies, and meat alternatives. After the picnic, we strolled around Cromwell Park and then we were off to Status, an Indian vegetarian restaurant. They have a massive menu with clearly marked vegan options. We really like the sev puri and the chole bhature. The rava masala dosa and the Manchurian were tasty as well. Overall, it was good but not great. But we still had a great time. On our final day, we had another fab breakfast at home and then we were off to Waiheke Island. This island is just a 40-minute ferry ride from Auckland and it consistently features on the top list of places to visit in the world. The ferry ride is about $60 per person, but we opted for an off-peak rate of $44 because we were returning after 7 p.m. The island actually looks even better than the incredible pictures. It's a really gorgeous place. And I really loved how insanely good the public transport was. Our bus stopped right outside the ferry building and the buses were frequent and punctual. Our first stop was the Vineyards near Onetange. The bus stopped right outside Wild Estate and that's where we had lunch. They had a vegan cheese alternative, so we had plenty of options. The pizza was really good, the cheese and sauce were tasty and the toppings were plentiful. Again, definitely not authentic pizza, but we really enjoyed it. The salad was awesome. It featured tempura fried eggplant on a bed of greens and veggies and the dressing had a sweet miso and sesame kick. Delicious and unexpected. Some of these olives are grown locally and they were great too. We then headed to Onaroa village for tea with a view at Vino Vino. They had marked vegan options for sandwiches, burgers and desserts as well. And we then took a ferry back to Auckland for one final outstanding homemade meal by my mom. Again, there were brief moments of silence while people ate, which is so unusual with a group of Indians. And that's that. Before getting here, we were warned by friends and relatives that New Zealand is not a good place for vegans or vegetarians. But our own experience was very positive, and I think these are the reasons why. Almost every spot we went to had clearly marked vegan options. You should be able to find a couple of options wherever you go. Even this little cafe at Waiotapu Thermal Park had a vegan salad sandwich and this vegan Snickers bar. There is a great awareness of dietary restrictions. Menus are clearly marked, and if they aren't, many places have a reference binder for the staff to check the exact ingredients of a particular dish. Sometimes, if nothing's vegan, they'll customize something for you. Like this delicious hummus sandwich at the rest stop on our bus trip to Tekapo. Everyone is so friendly, and they take that extra moment to help you out, even on a busy day. The local produce is of a very good quality. I was blown away by the tomatoes here. They were so tasty that you could easily have them as fruits. These New Zealand avocados made the creamiest, most decadent guac that I have ever had. The cherries and peaches were great, and so were the salad leaves and veggies. This means that even simple sandwiches, salads, and stir fries pack a real punch and became a source of excitement for us. New Zealand is supposed to be a sleepy country of old farmers, but this was not our experience. It has some vibrant cities with a great vibe in the evenings. In Queenstown, we got pizzas delivered at 10 p.m. In Christchurch and Wellington, you could easily find places open till 10 p.m. or even midnight. Even the restaurants in the tiny Tekapo stayed open till quite late. The food in New Zealand is consistently well salted. On our travels, especially at vegan restaurants, this can be a bit of a problem, where we find the food to be very undersalted. The international influence on the food here is very clear. Even in Lake Tekapo, a town of 500 residents, there was an Indian restaurant, a couple of Chinese restaurants, and even a Thai one. This means that you have more options for tasty, spicy, well-balanced meals wherever you go. The cheap and delicious way to feed yourself is one of these many vegan pies you can find in New Zealand. They cost about $5 to $8 and they are consistently delicious. In New Zealand, a main for one is usually between $15 to $30. So pie costs just a fraction of that and they're tasty and filling. We had a fantastic time in Auckland. Our hosts Tultul and Shekhar spoilt us with their kindness and love. The city is gorgeous, and if you're vegan or have dietary restrictions, I am sure you will be able to find whatever you want without worrying about whether you'll find something to eat or not.
So, if you're planning a trip to Auckland, it's time to get really excited.